What's up, Felix here for Thomann synthesizers, and today I'll finally be checking out the Make Noise Strega, which is a collaboration between Make Noise and Alessandro Cortini, who is an artist that I hold in very high regard, so pretty excited about that. I think the machine is primarily aimed at creating more of these complex, texture-y soundscapes and more experimental kind of sounds, so that's what I'm going to be aiming at. And in the process I'm also going to create a little sample pack that you can download from the description. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so here we are with the Make Noise Strega, or Strega, still not exactly sure how to pronounce it. And I'm actually still super naive when it comes to this thing. And I think today what I'm going to try to do is to basically harness my naivete and create a sample pack from it for you, because I think there's something magic about not knowing anything about an instrument, and the first couple of moments where you interact with it, you do a lot of naive stuff that you would not necessarily do once you know all the ins and outs and the individual features. I think in Buddhism they call it the beginner mind. So let's harness my beginner mind and create a little sample pack from just messing around with this super confusing layout here, which is very unconventional, and I think on purpose it's a bit mysterious. For example, these weird sketches and drawings on here, they're not necessarily accurate descriptions, but rather vague approximations of what is exactly happening here. Anyways, the very basic structure, as far as I was able to figure out so far, is sound generation, delay, filter, and this is a sort of cycling envelope slash LFO. So let's first maybe listen to the sound generating unit here. I think this is a volume, pitch. Here you have some sort of overtone control, and here there's some sort of irregularity being introduced. And of course, as you can see, you can patch this stuff with regular Eurorack stuff, and you can patch it internally with all of these ins and outs here. But of course, you can also interface it with any Eurorack stuff. Alright, then up next, here we have the dry and wet for the delay section, basically. And now we are at 50-50, and this is our delay time. And then the delay is going into the filter, which is being controlled right now by this LFO envelope sort of thing here. And what this allows us to do is actually to go 100% wet and create some lovely drones. So I think a lot of the stuff for the sample pack is going to be drones and just like these moving atmospheres and very abstract sounds. So don't, for this sample pack, don't expect anything melodic from me. This is just going to be effect sounds, drones, textures, and super abstract stuff. Yeah, that's it for the basic components. But what's also super interesting is that you have these gold-plated elements here. And I think the circles are actually outputs and the squares are inputs. And as you can see, I can just basically touch one of them with my finger and one of the other ones with another finger. And what I'm going to do is I'm temporarily creating a patch point between these two, whatever these two actually are. In this case, it seems to be some kind of trigger. Allowing me basically to apparently trigger the volume to go up for a short moment. And this seems to be doing something with the filter. Yeah, and so on. Alright, now let's create some sounds for the sample pack. So what's happening now? I have the oscillator here. It's going into the delay. And from there it's going into the filter, which we can control here. And I can take this, for example, turn it into the negative. And now what it's basically doing, because it's going into the negative, it's basically closing the filter really quickly. here I can control the tempo. Because at the moment nothing is clocked. This is all internally completely independent of any BPM, which is also always lovely. To have some sounds in your productions that are independent from the grid. Makes stuff a lot more interesting if you can integrate it properly. Okay, so what do we have here now? This is already kind of a beautiful drone, and one little thing that's lovely is we don't just have this super large pitch control here, which is not very precise, but this here seems to be some sort of fine tune control, this little one here. And what sounds really lovely is, because everything is going into the delay, to actually have some slight detune here and see what happens when I put this slight detune in the delay cycle. Ooh. Already we have some pretty beautiful psychedelic vibe. And now let's introduce some overtones into the delay cycle. And now both detuned overtones. Oh, lovely. Maybe now a little deeper drone with a different delay time. Yeah, maybe something like this. And now the same thing, creating some overtones. Oh, this is lovely. And now some detuning. Oh, I love this. And yeah, there's actually some other controls here, like for example this absorb thing here. Whatever it does, it seems to be introducing some higher white noise-ish kind of sounds, making everything even more dirty. Lovely. So what else could I do? One thing that might be fun is to, I don't know, like in a performative way, like shape sounds here with the oscillator. Something like this. These little, I don't know, manually created sculptures. And then put these into a very long delay, and then maybe even manipulate the LFO afterwards, and then create these tiny little sculptures which I can put in the sample pack. So maybe something like this. I don't know how it's gonna sound. Oh, it's gonna sound lovely, in fact. Yeah, you get the idea. So maybe I'm gonna create some of these. Yeah, these shorter ones, they could maybe be used as like transitional sounds in an arrangement. Whenever you remove other sounds or add other sounds in. Or maybe when you go into a break or something like this. Alright, up next let's maybe try and create some percussive sounds. Maybe using this feature here, this little finger patch that I showed you previously. I think this might be neat for creating some percussions with a little delay. Alright, and up next let's create another drone. So let's first use the oscillator. Send it into the delay 50-50 dry wet. And then, yeah, let's introduce some movement here. Maybe decrease the amount a bit. The fine control for the delay time here, also lovely. It has a similar effect to this one in this case, but it's just affecting the delay instead of the incoming signal. Ah, lovely. It's a subtle difference, but it's great to be able to control just the delay. Because that's like what it's tapey about this delay, is that when you manipulate the delay time, you also manipulate the pitch of the sound, just as would be the result of the technical limitation of a tape delay. Yeah, that's some beautiful hypnotic stuff here already. Maybe let's now take this little envelope here. Is this the output? I don't know. And put it in here. Yeah. Now we can use this self-cycling envelope-y thing here to actually create some movement in the overtones. Alright, yet another lovely sound for the sample pack. And in case you're wondering how I would approach creating a sample pack workflow-wise, is I would basically have a long recording running all the time so that I don't miss anything that I did by accident. But whenever there's a little idea that I know I want to turn into a sample later, like for example this little loop here, this little moving drone, I would go ahead and start a new clip so that later on I know at the beginning and end of each clip there's a little idea that I want to remember, that I want to easily find later when editing. And then I would basically tweak it until it's different enough. And when there's another idea, I go ahead and start a new clip, and later I know, okay, that's the next thing I wanted to turn into a sample. Alright, that's it for this little overview and first hands-on of the Strega. I'm now going to spend some more time fiddling around with it, doing lots of recordings, and then organizing them all in a neat little folder that you can download for free from the description and maybe use in your music and hopefully find some inspiration from. Alright, I guess that's it from my side for today. In case you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try and get back to you ASAP. And apart from that, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Peace out.